Hi everyone, this is Monika. This video is from my very first day driving on the track at Thunderhill Raceway in Northern California with my Audi A3 e-tron. It can be intimidating for a first-timer to consider driving on a racetrack, so here is my full driving session so you can ride and learn along with me. For all the session videos, check out the video description down below. Let's roll!
So have you come to a lot of track events as a spectator?
No, not really. Yeah, he stopped racing when we met, like 10 years ago. We did a little bit of, what's it called? The autocross. Yeah, so I went with him on the autocross, but never on a racetrack, besides just going to Laguna Seca to see the MotoGP.
I wanted to go to that so badly. I wish they still had that event there.
Yeah, they stopped making,
it's no longer on their calendar. Apparently it wasn't financially successful compared to, the Italian tracks and all the big stuff that they're used to.
Right.
So you are probably not going to need to hang on for your life. Okay, so we're coming up to turn 1. Now notice this blend line. So when we're exiting the pits, you have to stay on the right side.
Okay.
And when we're coming up to this on the next lap around, you have to stay on the left side.
Okay.
It's just because the people leaving the pits are coming up really slowly, and the people on the track are coming off the main straight, which is the fastest section of the track, right? And so it creates a hazard, and so there's that line to keep some separation.
So I'm not yielding to those people. I can get on a track at the same time as them.
You definitely want to be aware, but just make sure you're staying all the way over.
Okay.
So we're in turn 2 right now, and turn 2 is quite a long turn. And so turn 2 is where you're just going to maintain speed through it because it takes a long time. Note we have flag station here at turn 3 and it's blind, right? And the track abruptly turns this way over the crest. So for that turn, you want to make sure you're not too far left on the track. When you see that you're coming up to anything that's blind, it's a really good idea to stay sort of towards the middle of the track, especially if you don't know how abruptly things are going to turn. So that was 4 that we just went through. We're coming up on 5. Here's our flag station on 5. 5 is known as the Cyclone. It's a bit like a tiny version of the corkscrew on Laguna Seca. So I'm going to start speeding up because that's a sort of slower section, and we're going to come up to some faster sections here. So here we are through turn 6. And now I want you to start thinking about these cones that are all over the place, because that green cone there marks the beginning of a passing zone.
Okay.
Some place where someone can pass you, or you can pass someone if they want you by. The yellow cone on my left marks the end of the passing zone. And so once you pass the yellow cone, you shouldn't be passing. This is turn 8. Turn 7 back there, most people can just take that at full speed because it's just a little thing. Turn 8's a lot faster than most people expect, but I'm not going to push you through that too hard today. So this is 9, and 9's got a little bit of a switchback, and it's also blind. So center track until we see where the track is going. And you'll notice the track sort of approaches us from the right side after the turn there. You'll notice it more when you're driving, and a lot of times you just have to kind of like do that to get over. Nothing bad's going to happen if you have to do that. This is turn 10. Turn 10 has got a lot of camber on it, so you can actually go through it quite quickly once you get comfortable. And 10 leads to what's called the S's. And the reason why it's called the S's is because, well, it's S-shaped, but also because it's 11, 12, and then 13. Sort of rapidly named. A lot of other tracks would just call that 11. But here we've got different names for each component of it. So again, we're in a passing zone right now that ends in the yellow cone. We're coming up to 14. And 14 often looks like it's a 90-degree turn to people. thing is there's this run out here that we can use. And we can even get on those rumble strips. That was 15 that we went through. And now we're on the main straight. This is our start-finish stand here. This is one of the better passing zones. It's the longest, and immediately after it is a very high-speed corner. And so that means that people who are passing you, or if you're passing them, aren't worried so much about whether they can brake in time for the corner. Now you'll notice that I'm using a lot of the track. And some of that you can kind of see when you look at the orange cones that we have around here. The orange cones are sort of marking the beginning, middle, and end of the turns. The middle one, of course, being set around the apex. And oftentimes, you'll notice that the orange cone is further along than you'd expect. And that just means that there's a late apex. We have a car behind us, and he's going to want to get by me. We're in a no passing zone right now. Fortunately, after turn 6, which is coming up, we'll have a passing zone until you get to see me do a point by. So they're having a bit of fun in that car there. A lot of power, a lot of grip. So we're going to speed up. Cover a little bit. Pretty good. Okay. You can use quite a lot of this track over here, and you don't need to worry too much about it. Especially as you start gaining speed, you're going to want to use that part of the track because you actually have a lot of control and it's a lot safer. A lot of times when there are races, they'll set up cones that off the track just to make it a little more challenging. And it also slows down the speeds on the approach to this corner. This corner can be a little bit dangerous during a race because our pit exit is right there to our right. And so you have a mix of cars slowing down to go into the pits, turning right across the apex of that corner. So sometimes that can create some danger and kind of slow things down in the essence. So in our last lap here, I'm just going to ask you to say what the number of corner is that we're in. So what corner is
Number
this?
1,
Bingo.
2. This one, number 2. 14.
That's 14. And then we'll be skipping off.
Okay.
And there's a flag stand there that's impossible to see if you're actually driving. So we ignore it.
Right, okay.
So we did take 3 laps unless I miscounted anything.
We did 3. Yeah.
We did 3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Other people are staying out with their coaches. Maybe the coaches are having too much fun. They're losing count.
Oh, you're not having fun in my car?
I am. Okay, I was trying not to go faster because I'm like, hey, this is actually kind of nice. This is nothing like a Prius.
Yeah,
right?
no.
And so I was having a good time. So I'm glad that you're watching what they're doing, because that's the next thing I'm going to say.
Yeah, because I'm not really clearly see where the 8 is.
Well, I'll show it to you when we
Okay.
get out here about what you actually need to be looking at, 'cause there's some
Okay.
stuff that's not entirely obvious. So let's watch as this white Porsche goes around. Can you see the blue cones? The reason why I wasn't bringing it up is because we don't have an unobstructed view yet. So you'll see there's 2 blue cones on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side what you'll see, and you can probably see the gate clearly there, it's where there's 2 cones on either side.
Okay.
Right? Looks like one of them got knocked down, probably got blown down by the wind. Ordinarily you'd have 2 cones like this, and 2 cones like that. And they're indicating it's a gate. And so what we have on either side here is 2 sort of half moons, right? Going from the blue cone to the gate. And the idea is to just run through the gate, around the blue cone, through the gate, around the blue cone, and so
Okay,
on.
so blue cone is in the middle of that circle.
The blue cone's at the edge.
Oh, it's
So
at the
if you
edge?
think about this, these are the edges of it, right? And you got blue cones at the top, you got the orange gates at the bottom, and you're just sort of running figure 8. We'll see it more clearly when we see them go around, if Tupper gets out of the way.
Oh, so you go this side of blue cone? Or?
Yep. Yeah, I think that they passed. Yeah, so they're getting a little lost.
Yeah, because
Right.
go on the
So
other side
that's
of the-
correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, outside of the blue cone. You
Okay.
see the gate over here has blue cones on it, and I'll talk about that in a
Oh,
second.
okay. So you go between those blue cones,
Between
and
the
then you
blue
go around
cones.
this blue cone. Okay.
And then between the 4 cones, there's 2 on either side, and he actually went outside of that. Right.
Yeah. It's not
It's
very
okay.
clear, to be honest.
Yeah, it could be more clear, especially if that one cone was standing up. So you see there's a cone standing up over there, and then one laying down. It's like an arrow, it's pointing to it.
Oh, there, I see.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like that on both sides, but somebody probably hit it. So the blue cones show you the braking zone, and that braking zone is between the blue and our yellow cones over here, which is the exit.
Okay.
Alright. So I think what's probably a good idea is we just run through it once and then jump back in line,
Okay.
right? And so that way you're not pushing it.
Okay, so you want me just to go once, brake, and jump back?
Nope. We'll do the full 3 so
3
you know
times,
where
okay.
you're going. Right?
Okay.
And I think they're going next, so we'll get to see your
Let's
friend's
go.
going,
Yeah.
right? We'll get to see
Yeah,
her
so
go
go
through
outside of the blue cone.
it. Outside of the blue cone.
Okay. And
Through the gate there.
inside that one, and then through the blue cone gate.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, this seems...
It's very abstract, and then once you see
Right,
it,
yeah,
you see it.
yeah.
Yeah. And the thing about an exercise like this is you can go as fast as you want through this. You can absolutely, like once we're past those green cones, you could floor it if you felt like it,
Right.
right? You might not make it through the course. You'll probably run over a bunch of cones, but it's not going to hurt your car.
I'm gonna be gone.
Okay.
Just be
All right.
alternate, right?
braking zone. There we go. And so the idea with the braking zone is when you exit that, and we can go, we're clear.
Okay.
The idea with the braking zone is just to hit the brakes hard, so accelerate fast and then hit the brakes hard. So around the blue, through the gate, crank that wheel around.
I did not.
No, it's fine, it's fine. Stay outside of the blue. There you go. Perfect. Perfect.
I don't think I can steer the steering wheel without.
In this sort of exercise, shuffle your hands around, do whatever works for you.
Okay.
We're not on track, we're just trying to feel things about the car.
Okay, is this the second
This is
time?
our second time through. So we'll do one more. Very nice. Picking up speed. And then charge at that gate. And then brake hard. Okay, that's ABS. Right?
Yeah.
You felt it. You felt that juddering. That's anti-lock brakes.
Right.
Right? So what you want to do is not have that turn on, but be right at that point before it would turn on.
Okay.
That's threshold braking.
Do we do second time?
Yeah, we get
Okay.
back in line. And I gotta say, I liked that. I liked that because you were going for it. One thing that I will say is be thinking about when you get the wheel back to straight where your hands are, because you're
Okay.
bunching up your hands. Right?
Yeah,
And
okay.
you have a lot less control when your hands are like that. You get a lot more control when it's like this.
Right, yeah.
This sort of exercise that doesn't matter so much on a track, it's going to be a lot better for having control over the car.
Right, yeah. Okay.
And so,
Yeah, it was like when you mentioned, keep it like this, but those corners are like
no,
just
no. You wouldn't do that unless you were going very, very fast in a very
Yeah.
powerful rear-wheel drive car.
Right.
Because in those sorts of cars, you're steering a lot with the gas pedal. Because you're just going to be slipping, right? In this car, do what you're comfortable doing, right? And I think definitely the way to do it is, you see this when you do autocross, right? Where you crank a wheel over because you got to make a really tight turn.
Yeah.
It's a lot like an autocross course,
Right, yeah.
right?
Oh, somebody's.
Yep, you can hear the tires,
Yeah.
right? And once you start hearing the tires, you know you're approaching the limit.
Okay, so I need to step on the brake lighter, not that.
Yeah, when you get to the end, it's going to be a lighter touch. So you do have more space there than I think you have. And so step on the brakes and start giving that gradual pressure. So see what happens as you put more and more pressure on. So you don't want to punch it, right? But you want to squeeze that brake pedal relatively quickly, right? But not like you're hitting it like an on-off switch. Like you want to,
Right.
So
Okay.
it's firm, but not an impact.
Right.
Right?
Okay.
And don't be too gentle with it, because then it
Okay.
won't do what you want it to.
Okay.
And when we get up to, when we're talking to more advanced students who are thinking about things like lap times, braking is the number one focus, because braking is so important. I am so comfortable.
I'm glad you like that.
Yesterday I had a student that had a fully race prepped car. This was someone who had never driven on a racetrack. And so I'm in a seat that's absolutely narrow as can be, in a 5-point harness.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is terrible, but let's do it. Whereas now I've got the heated seat, comfortable, everything is luxurious. I'm very pleased. I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning and thought,
Which was like
back
4
to the
a.m. old
racetrack.
time,
It's
right?
4 a.m. really.
Yeah.
My car's clock had, it doesn't automatically update, so it reminded me when I got into it.
Well, I wonder if my clock did. Oh, it did. 10.
Nice.
10, I believe.
Do you have your phone synced to the car?
Must. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a car that did that, where it would actually update to whatever my phone
Yeah,
said
it's
it
kind of
was.
like with the time change. You
Yeah.
just don't know if the clock updated or not, right?
Yeah,
so you just don't
exactly.
trust what.
Yeah, exactly. And I was so worried about it. I woke up before my alarm went off. I woke up at 4:45, going, "Oh no, what time is it?"
Yeah, we actually, because we didn't know if your cell phone updates or not,
Yeah.
so we actually put a timer for like
Oh yeah.
7 hours.
Very nice. Smart. Last night I set the coffee pot, but I set it for 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Right? So I get up and it has not started yet,
Yeah.
because as far as the coffee pot knows, it's 4 a.m.
Right, yeah.
Oh, it looks like somebody broke down on track.
Uh-oh.
That's sad. It looks like it's a fully race prepped car. That happens. This can turn into a very expensive hobby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's actually why I do what I'm doing, is because I realized that I wanted to get this hobby to pay for itself.
Uh-huh.
And so I coach. I work at Sonoma Raceway
Yeah.
as well. I work as a flag waver at one of the corner stations.
Right, yeah. Yeah, Carl had like fully modified Nissan Z,
Oh,
like as a
nice.
racetrack with
Yeah.
roll cage in and
Oh, someone's fun.
wow.
Yeah.
And like special turboed whatever
Mm.
engines, and he blowed actually engine here on the Thunder Hill.
Yeah, that's not surprising. That was a good stop on their part.
Oh, okay.
The tires locked just for a second. As soon as they
So do
let
you
up.
release a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. So I need to remember.
Yeah, when you feel that juddering and you that spin, lay off the brake pedal a little bit. And ordinarily you can back off, but because you're slowing, you can actually back off and then immediately start putting pressure back on. It's a lot to think about.
Yeah, I don't.
And if
if
you're
I
ever
remember
in-
all that in a moment.
And if you're ever in a panic situation, you really just want to put your foot down and
Right,
that's it,
yeah.
right? So if the car is ever spinning, right,
Uh-huh.
just brake. Just brake as hard as you can and wait until things stop and then get going again. This is just something that, you know, if you did take this up as a hobby and wanted to be faster, you would start to want to develop those braking skills. So we incorporate it in the exercise
Yeah.
for that. If you don't want to do it, you don't even have to. You can just drive through there. Flip Tupper off while you're doing it. I'm not doing your braking exercise.
Us.
Hang on. Alright, go for it. So this next time, try and go through the gate, but don't brake. Just start turning the car. See what happens.
Oh, really?
Oh, it'll do it. It'll do it. We got another lap.
Okay, I didn't.
Yeah. Nicely done.
Okay, now
Charge.
braking.
Good.
Is it?
No, it was. It was. You managed the braking force, right? You were braking firm. I mean, we were slowing down,
Uh-huh.
right? You know, and we never reached that point where the car was
Are we
shaking
going
us.
one more, or we're
We
done?
can keep going until 10:40 if you want.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we can do this over and over and over.
More and
Let's keep doing it.
I
And
think-
so the reason why I asked you not to brake on this because I wanted you to feel what happens if you're going a bit faster, and then you started to modulate it on your own to keep a tighter line, right?
Yeah.
Because the first time you went through, like, oh, we're running really wide here, right? So
Yeah.
next time you went through, you backed off a little bit and were able to keep that tighter line, but you were going a lot faster than when you were hitting the brakes.
Right, okay.
And so
Yeah,
that's
so
what this
it's
is
kind
for.
of, so when I let the gas pedal off, right, like engine starts braking, so that's probably just enough
Yeah.
to like brake, and I
for
don't
this,
really need to step
that's
on.
probably enough. For this exercise, yeah, that's probably enough. Now, if you absolutely floored it out of here, right, like gas to the floor, you would need to brake before you go through that gate, right?
Yeah.
But you could do it. You could do it. Wait, did I update my watch? Okay,
10:07.
all right. I do have the right time.
Yeah, okay, let's do one more and then
Okay.
have a break. So because you said 10:45 is our track.
Let's see. You get to drive on track at 11:05.
Oh, okay.
And so this is supposed to be staying open till 10:45.
Okay.
As long as there's someone here willing to spot, it's open,
Right.
right?
Okay.
And so, I mean, we could do this all day. If you wanted. I can get out the spot after everybody's left, and you can just spin and spin and spin and do whatever you want. But we're on track A group.
Okay.
That was our little tour laps for me. A group 11:05 is when we're going to go out. So we're going to want to start staging at 10:55 to 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And since we're probably going to be going out, you know, one of the last cars going out, we're not going to be in a rush to get to the staging area.
Right.
There's going to be people in the A group who are a lot more, what's the word?
Yeah, it is
Amped up.
definitely a lot to watch. Right? Like
Yes.
car behind you and
Yeah.
the turns and
Yeah.
towers. It's
Yeah. It is a lot. Fortunately, there's 3 miles of track here, and there's not that many cars. And so you're going to have plenty of space a lot of the time.
right.
The thing to remember is that when there's somebody coming up behind you, don't worry about them, right? Worry about what you're doing. Don't speed up for them. Don't change your path for them, right? And then once you get to a passing zone where you're comfortable driving on the right-hand side, get your arm out that window and point it back.
Okay.
And I noticed when I did this in your car that the pillar here actually makes it a little challenging to get your arm out the window.
Yeah.
But you want to make sure that it is not ambiguous in any way. Sometimes you get people that sort of do this.
Yeah.
Right? That's not a point by,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I can't tell when I'm driving behind you if that's a point by, or if you're just saying, ooh, ducks. Right? I have no idea.
Yeah.
So it needs to be arm extended and held until you see that that person is you know,
Right.
is starting to go around you.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And you do that, this is the key, you do that when you are comfortable and you feel safe doing it, right?
Yeah.
They have to wait,
Okay.
right? If you're in front, it's all about you. They gotta wait. You stick on your line where you're comfortable at your comfortable speed. And then you let them by when you feel like being courteous. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So they were also mentioning to like do like this.
Yep. So if you see the car, and you recognize them and you say, let's say you see someone comes up behind you in turn 2. So you can't actually pass until you get past turn 6. It's quite a lengthy part of the track before you get to a passing zone. And so it's a nice courtesy to tap your mirror. It shows them that you see them there and you're going to let them pass. And that way, before they see your arm come out the window, they're getting ready for it. Right,
Okay.
so they're going to be getting off to the left-hand side. They're going to be getting closer to you at the exit of turn 6, if that's where you're doing it right. And that just prepares everybody for a safe and quick pass. Because we really want passes to happen as fast as they can. We want to minimize that time where 2 cars are next to each other. And that takes both parties participating and doing their jobs. taking an extra go.
Hey, there's somebody else that's on.
They got excited and lost count. That's all right. Very good stop. That's us. We're ready for it. That was great. At some point today, we are going to get these tires to squeal.
Oh, you think so?
Ooh, that was excellent.
Is it good?
So I actually felt the back of the car starting to rotate.
Seriously?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Right? That was absolutely excellent. Good. Okay, we're getting there. So that hopefully gives you a sense of how the weight shifts back and forth, and you know how much you can sort of turn things before you start to run wide, and how fast you can go. Right? It's a nice exercise for sort of feeling the car when you've got a lot of G-forces going left and